Hey, Tom.
Hey,
With the figured out the return game without a live preseason game, what's going to be the deciding factors in who you go with on opening night?
you know how they play in practice. Everything's gonna have to come off practice reps. We're trying to simulate full covers, which you really don't do a lot in the preseason because you rely on preseason games. So, for example, today we had a full period of full cover, and we got to determine who that guy's going to be. And we've got a bunch of guys back there catching balls, but we have at least 2 weeks left where we're going to keep covering punts. At least every other day, where we can try and figure this guy out, and then tomorrow cover kickoff returns.
Next up, Andrew Mason, go ahead.
When you have a long snapping competition like you have this year, how do you go about making sure they get enough reps in practice, and what are you looking for separation in that competition?
It has to start with accuracy. Number one, you can't have your punter moving from side to side. If the ball gets out of his framework, it really makes it hard to punt. Number two, do they have velocity? Because you're always going against father time. And then the big thing with both these young guys is they've never protected in real life football. So we're going after them every single day, every single chance we get. We're getting some of our veterans to rush some singles. And then also from a protection standpoint, we're having a rush period every single period. From a field goal standpoint, kind of goes unsaid how important that part of it is. Again, number one is accuracy. And then number two is laces. You always want the laces when that holder catches it to be facing forward towards the goalpost. If they're always behind or they're to the, at 9 o'clock or 3 o'clock, you got issues there. So it really comes down to the accuracy part of it, the velocity part of it, and they got to be able to protect. And for me, we're looking for a guy that can cover. That's a big, big thing in this league right now. There's about 6 guys out there that you have to actually block. It's different in the NFL now than it was back before when you could cover those big snappers up. You need a guy that can get down and cover. If you do have one, it makes it really, really hard on a punt return unit. You got to block that guy. Never had to block him before.
Next up, Mike Kliss, go ahead.
Yes, Tom. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
How about Jerry Jeudy? We've seen him back there on punt return. What are you looking at from him if you would use him?
I'll be honest with you right now, we're just trying to get him to catch that ball. It's hard to catch a punt. He didn't catch him at Alabama. Everybody knows, the returners that they have there right now. So he didn't get a lot of opportunities to do that. But he would be, in my opinion right now, more of an emergency guy, and he does catch the ball well. But he has never caught one amongst traffic and returned one before he got here. NFL punts are very hard to catch. KJ doing a great job catching them too. I know he's injured now, but he was doing a good job. And then Hinton's back there for the first time catching these NFL punts. But to answer your question with Jerry, right now he's just doing a great job catching them. And that's our biggest worry with him is we don't see him as being our starting punt returner. He's going to get us out of the game.
Next up, Eric DeLala.
Yeah, hey, Coach. Wondering what you've seen from Sam Martin and how he's kind of lived up to the expectations you had of him when you signed him.
The thing that Sam has been able to do in his 8-year career is punt the ball to the right. It's a very difficult thing. There's about 3 guys that can do it. He's doing it in practice for us right now. All these punters can punt to their left. If you're a righty, all of you have played baseball. Your home run ball is out to left field. So when you hit a baseball just like a punter, it's easy to punt to the left. It's hard to punt down the right field line. He's very accurate. He's hitting the edges. And so what we're seeing in practice is he's able to force our returners to run all the way one sideline to the other, and they don't know where the ball is being punted. So it's been great. He's been great with Brandon as a holder, which is a huge, huge deal. And he's been great with these young snappers. He expects high expectations from them, and he wants them to produce. And that's what good punters and good holders do.
Guys, as a reminder, please use the lower your hand function if you no longer have a question. Next up, Brandon Cristal, go ahead, please.
Tom, for the record, I hit right-handed, but like to hit it right over first base in softball. It's a little different.
I love it.
Question, though, about Deontay Spencer, because draft night, we asked about Hamler returning. I think we even asked you this in the spring. Vic was like, no, Spencer's our returner. And when you see him back there, it does look different. Are you going to advocate, and we've asked you about this, and it's not necessarily your call, but to keep Spencer on the roster because of his experience and what he did last year?
I'll be honest with you. I'm going to be for Spence and for everybody. I'm going to get the best returner back there that we can. If somebody beats Spence out, they deserve to be it. If Spence beats everybody out, he deserves to be our punt returner. And I never went into a season and tried to predetermine who that guy should be. I didn't even know who Deontay was last year, and, we were blessed to get him.
Next one, Mark Kisler, go ahead.
You've talked about all the challenges of this year. As a result, do you think we'll see bigger plays on special teams, more explosive plays on special teams, or will people go into a cocoon and make sure they don't make mistakes on special teams?
That's a great question. I don't know. The one thing that I do know is we don't know who any team is going to put out there. They have no idea who our punt team is going to be. They don't have any idea who our returner is going to be. We have no idea who – I'm talking about our first, 2 opponents. So I think that's the biggest thing. To answer your question, big play-wise, I think the biggest worry for all of us as special teams coordinators is we average 23 to 28 punts every preseason, punt returns, kickoffs. And so you get to see the guys cover, and your special teams players play in the preseason. It's much different than, I get it, offense and defense, but these guys, your core guys, are out there playing, and you can see if they're ready. So it does worry me, but I don't have that answer. The one thing that plays in our favor is they don't know where we're going to pump the ball with Sam. We're doing things possibly that they've never seen. They're doing things we've never seen, and we have no idea who their returner is. They have no idea who ours are, and they don't know who they can attack on our punt team. So it's going to be fun the first game, to be honest with you, kids.
Last two, Ryan and then Mike. Go ahead, Ryan.
Hey, Tom, Brandon McManus said a couple weeks ago that he wants to improve his percentage from 50 yards out. Do you see the leg strength so far in camp? He can do that?
No question. B-Mac he's hitting the hell out of the ball right now. To be honest with you, he's having a great camp. The ball is getting up. His ball rotation is never sideways. I love what he's doing. His kickoffs are awesome. How he's approaching, he's just attacking. He's doing a great job with these young snappers. His expectations are high. He's making theirs high. Can't wait to see him play. But yes, to answer your question, having a heck of a preseason camp.
Last one, Mike, please go ahead.
Yeah, Tom, we've seen on Hard Knocks that the special teams coordinator has a lot of say on the last 4 or 5 spots on the roster. Would you agree with that? Has that been a responsibility that you've dealt with over the years, and have you kind of started that process now with cut day 13 days away?
From a roster standpoint, anybody that's not a starter, we give, our cutthroat, honest evaluation, and I'll be upfront with you. It's always a video evaluation, no different than if we had a preseason. So, you start looking at the last part of the roster. To me, it's every single guy that's not a starter, to be completely honest with you. They're all so important. So we just give our opinions from the standpoint of a straight video evaluation. It has nothing to do with how tall this guy is, this, that, the other. If those guys are kicking our tails in practice, we're gonna fight for them. If we can't block them, the other team can't. So I know I'm not gonna just talk about the last 4 or 5 guys. We got about 25 guys that we have to make sure we get the right eval on.